There's a good outlook on the wildfire burning in Grant County. Fire crews say it may be fully contained by tomorrow.
Washington workers may soon receive more overtime pay. That's if a proposal by the Department of Labor passes.
This morning, the world is remembering those who lost their lives in the Normandy landings. Today is the 75th anniversary of D-Day.
5 a.m. on our Thursday morning. Welcome to KREM 2 Morning News. I'm Jen York.
I'm Taylor Vito.
And I'm Evan Narani.
Thanks so much for being with us. We do want to start off this morning by getting a check of our air quality. Right now, Spokane is in the good range. That's good news.
Relief.
Yesterday, we woke up to hazy conditions.
Now we also want to get a check of Sandpoint this morning. Yesterday at this time, Sandpoint had the worst air quality in the nation, but today it looks like things are a lot better and Sandpoint is in the good range. So
it looks like there
relief
is,
there.
Yeah, so a little bit of maybe moderate air up toward the international border, but at least our air quality isn't looking too bad today, right? Take a deep breath as you walk out the door.
Relishing it.
Yeah,
and
but
it's a little bit cooler outside too.
Yeah, a bit cooler, and toward the afternoon, boy, is there a cool down on the way. So we're expecting those temperatures to really take a tumble into the afternoon as opposed to the 80s and 70s. We're going to be saying hello to the 60s and 50s.
Oh, Evan, tell us more.
So, okay, we're not too excited about this, but it's not going to be too long of a period that we're going to be seeing it, right? So right now outside, showers did come through last night. You may remember late last night into early this morning, we saw a couple of those showers pop up. We were originally expecting most of these showers to just kind of linger around the North Idaho panhandle, but a couple of them did make their way into the eastern Washington area. So now, over just the last 2 hours or so, most of those showers are still in the North Idaho area. Very little is happening across eastern Washington with the exception of course, cloud cover. As we mentioned, air quality back in the good range. We aren't expecting this to be an issue for the day today. What rain does, it does a very good job of clearing out the pollutants in the air. That includes smoke. So when we see rain, that's not only in terms of preventing the fire from spreading, but rain also has a strong effect on preventing the smoke from continuing to contaminate the air. As far as those temperatures go, that's really going to be the talk of the day. We've got those temperatures really only sticking to the upper 50s and low 60s. That's for the afternoon hours even. 62 degrees here in Spokane for an afternoon high. It's going to take a little bit of time to get there, and as opposed to that afternoon high coming around 3 or 4 p.m., it's going to come closer to 6 or 7 p.m. as those temperatures just steadily increase. Cloud cover prevents any strong temperature warm up over the next few days. Now, we do have some showers that are still going to stick with us. We've got wet weather really lingering all the way from today into about your Saturday. We'll talk more about that coming up. Let's take a look at what's going on the roads right now to start off our Thursday morning. Right now, so far so good. I-90 is looking nice. The sun has just started to make its way up, but we're not going to see much of it. Still a good amount of cloud cover. There is some issues related to visibility in a couple spots in the northwest, though right now I-90 is looking pretty clear. Back to you guys.
Evan, thank you. It is 5:03 now. Conditions are starting to look better in Grant County this morning. Firefighters hope to have the 243 command fire fully contained by tomorrow.
Here's a check of the latest numbers. The fire has burned more than 18,000 acres near Royal City. Reports from the Washington Department of Natural Resources show the fire is 25% contained. Fire crews say their #1 priority is keeping the community safe, so evacuations are still in place. Evacuation notices have not changed since Tuesday morning. Those evacuation levels include a level 3 evacuation for Smyrna. That means leave immediately.
One thing that has changed is the Red Cross evacuation shelter. That shelter is now on standby. Volunteers with the Red Cross say they are ready to reopen the shelter if necessary. Right now, we do not know the cause of the fire.
If you're headed to the Gorge this weekend, the Grant County Sheriff's Office says concerts will go on as planned. The fire's burning about 20 miles from the amphitheater. Dead and Company is playing there tomorrow, and on Saturday, the band is made up of former Grateful Dead band members along with John Mayer. The Sheriff's Office says smoke likely will not be an issue.
5:04 now. A man is recovering this morning after a stabbing in Spokane's Logan neighborhood.
It happened near East Ermina Avenue and Cincinnati Street. Cops say that 2 men got into a fight after the victim's car broke down. That's when the suspect stabbed him. The victim was rushed to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. Police are looking for information related to this case. If you saw anything, you're asked to call Crime Check, and that number is at the bottom of your screen. Well, there's new information related to the search for a local missing 24-year-old woman.
The Spokane County Sheriff's Office found a woman's body inside her apartment. They're not yet confirming if it is Arizu Kashifi. The young mother of two was last seen on May 25th. Her husband bought a one-way ticket out of the country 3 days later. The Sheriff's Office is looking to speak with anyone who has information on Wahid Kashifi. That is her husband. Detectives are now investigating this as a homicide. Washington state workers could soon be eligible for more overtime pay.
The State Department of Labor and Industries wants to revamp who gets time and a half. By 2026, employees making $80,000 a year or less at larger companies would be included. If approved, the plan would impact about 250,000 people.
This rule will help protect hard-working middle-class Washingtonians, which we believe is good for business, it's good for workers, and it's good for our economy.
The proposed rule is the first update to the state's overtime rules in more than 4 decades.
We are taking a look at the sunrise from Omaha Beach in Normandy, France this morning. Of course, 75 years ago, thousands of Allied troops stormed these beaches to stop the Nazis. This became known to the world as D-Day.
This morning, many around the world are remembering the lives lost during D-Day. Thousands of Americans made the ultimate sacrifice. President Trump is in France this morning to attend several of today's ceremonies. One of the stops the president will make is the American Cemetery in Normandy. He is joined by world leaders to pay tribute to World War II veterans.
We are gathered here on freedom's altar, on these shores, on these bluffs, on this day 75 years ago. 10,000 men shed their blood and thousands sacrificed their lives for their brothers, for their countries, and for the survival of liberty.
Of the more than 16 million Americans that served in that war, fewer than 500,000 are still alive, and most are in their 90s. There was a ceremony yesterday at the World War II Memorial in Washington, D.C. The names of nearly 9,000 people were read aloud at the memorial.
A 97-year-old U.S. veteran parachuted into Normandy 75 years after he made the same journey on D-Day.
Tom Rice was among the 200 parachutists who filled the Normandy skies yesterday. He was also one of the 18,000 paratroopers who jumped into gunfire ahead of the 1944 seaborne invasion.
Why are you doing this?
Well, we did this because I did this because I like to, and it's an extended dimension of maybe my personality.
So now, 75 years later, Rice decided to jump again at the same location. After months of training, he made the jump successfully, landing while thousands of people watched. Rice made the jump this time with an American flag attached to his parachute. He said it felt great and that he wanted to do it again.
Thank you to him for his service. Yeah. Well, talks between the U.S. and Mexico ended last night without a deal on migration, but the two sides say they'll meet again today.
Both countries are hoping to avert President Trump's threatened 5% tariff on Mexican imports. The White House is pushing Mexico to stop the flow of Central American migrants into the U.S. Since January, law enforcement apprehended nearly 440,000 people there. That is more than the entire population of Cleveland. The president says he is serious about the tariffs, but many in Congress are not on board with it.
We're having a great talk with Mexico. We'll see what happens, but something pretty dramatic could happen. We've told Mexico the tariffs go on, and I mean it too.
This is dangerous territory. This is not a way to treat a friend. It's not a way to deal with immigration.
The tariffs could gradually increase and hit 25% if no agreement is reached with Mexico.
5:09 now on our Thursday morning. Well, movie lovers might want to head to Riverfront Park this summer because it's hosting the outdoor movies. It's back.
Yeah, this comes just a little more than a month after an event organizers said they weren't hosting the movies this year. Good news is that changed. All the movies are free and the lineup starts next Wednesday, June 12th. Here are some of the movies playing this summer. The first one is Benny and June.
That's followed by Zootopia, Back to the Future, The Big Lebowski, and Ralph Breaks the Internet. Event organizers say the movies are a mix of family-friendly films, cult classics, and specific movie nights for ages 18 and up. All of the movies play on Wednesdays, and they all start at 8:30 p.m., right around dusk.
Really mixing it up with The Big Lebowski, too, in that. So
I'm guessing
something.
that's an 18 and over movie.
Yeah. Only older dudes at that one.
That's right.
Yeah.
5:10 now. Well, at first glance, it may look like a rain cloud, but meteorologists say not so fast. We will tell you exactly what we're looking at here.
Washington State University has a new baseball coach. This morning we'll introduce you to the man that comes from a winning team.
And take a look outside to start off our Thursday morning. Just a good amount of cloud cover where this afternoon temperatures are much cooler than usual. We'll be talking about just how long these cool temperatures will stick around and what comes after that. Stay with us.